I am community manager Pat. I handle a lot of the social and the tech stuff that you guys read.
Okay, I am the creative director at Ocean Drive Studio. I'm making Lost Eidolons. I make decisions on what to do, what to make, what not to make.
Now, before we get started with the presentation today, I also want to go a little bit over our Kickstarter campaign. You guys have gone above and beyond, and we have raised 75% of our goal already, and we've barely went over half the campaign. So we're making great progress. It's looking good. It's looking up for the project to meet its goals. So we wanted to take a moment to thank you guys for supporting the project on Kickstarter, for sharing the Kickstarter with your friends, for letting other people know about it, and signal boosting it on social media. First thing that we're going to be showcasing, actually, early development footage. And who do we have in this scene, Jin Sang?
Okay, here I think we have Eden and Andrea, where these two are actually playable characters.
기다려봐. 잠깐만.
This is very early story.
내가 뭘 잘못했.
The second type of cutscene that we got, something a little bit more static.
Okay, yeah, this is the early version as well. Early part of the story where you have the Leon and Francisco and Eden.
This is actually kind of cool because we recently put up story blogs on Leon and Francisco, but we never actually showed them before. So you guys actually can get a kind of a first look here on what these characters look like. They're part of Eden's kind of ragtag band of mercenaries. So the third type of cutscene, which might happen from in a couple places in the games, this is the third type and the last type of cutscene, which is the narrative told through this kind of awesome concept art.
I wanted everything like 3D, but then like thinking about like having all the 3D cutscenes may feel like, you may feel like tired of it. So I wanted to add some 2D illustrated, animating a little bit,
It's very stylistic. I actually prefer this in some regards. Like I love having cutscenes that are 3D as well, but like having this kind of stylized like 2D stuff where I can just focus on the narrator like saying stuff. I actually like this a whole lot. And yes, just as Benatsu wrote, it adds a little bit of diversity to the whole thing.
That's true.
There's one more type of cutscene. It's the battle cutscenes. If you're in the middle of a battle, right? And it's a story. It's a story battle, and someone has dialogue they have to say. So the camera will quickly pan over to them. They'll speak their piece. Maybe there'll be a little bit of back and forth or some extra context going on the other side of the field and whatnot. It's pretty good. I actually like how it's the actual model speaking there too.
We could actually do the character illust. I thought that like we have this cool 3D models animating, so why not use it in a dialogue scene as well? So
what do you think?
When something triggers, when you reach somewhere, the event triggers and then cutscene comes in.
Yeah, I like it. What do y'all think in chat? Like, do you guys like it this way better, or do you guys have a preference towards like a 2D sprite, or it doesn't really matter to you guys and you guys like having more than one kind? Either way, it looks good to you. Yeah.
I wanted to like really like moving, like animating, and kind of like living creatures talking, really.
So that is technically a fourth type of cutscene. We have the camp cutscenes, but this is the battle cutscenes that are battle dialogue that might happen in the middle of a fight. So moving on from the cutscenes, we're gonna show you guys some of the new skill animations that our team has whipped up for the skills. There are a lot of skills and spells in the games. Poison bomb, chucks of poison.
And there's a blizzard coming, like the ice kind of magic, like 3 set of ice magic.
I noticed that there's some new animations of the actual spell casting too, which is really nice.
Oh, you noticed?
Yeah, which is really nice because in the previous stream, someone had remarked how they would kind of hope that there would be more variation in the actual spell casting animations, which I agree, because if you're going to be seeing this all the time, it's good to have some variations so it doesn't grow a little tiring. It's nice. It's nice.
So if you look at the casting animations, there are like kind of 3 or 4 type of casting animations, depending on like how strong the magic is.
So the more powerful the skill, the different the animation. Also, there are some other skill animations that we wanted to show. We'll have to get to it in a second, but before we get to that, there's this animation which kind of shows our player-controlled character is running faster than Usain Bolt right now.
Okay, we have the actually this is too fast, right? we have like walking, running, and sprinting because like I wanted my characters be fast enough to reach where I wanted to go. So
that running that was a walking, a run, and a sprint, right? And that's to get around the camp. And as we discussed in blogs as well as the previous live stream, the camp is the outgame portion where you go about your business between these episodic battles, where you can advance storylines, take side quests, grow your characters, build relations with characters. I mean, how many playable characters are there again?
There's the 34 characters you playable in the Eden story.
Wait, that's a lot of people.
I plan to limit that users can gain up to 20 to 24 characters when you play through.
I see. So if you recruit too many, then when you try to recruit someone else, they're going to be like, oh, you got enough people, I don't want to be a third wheel. I'm good. I don't want to join your army. Maybe release a unit and I'll change my mind.
Yeah, so the major characters are actually you will gain them automatically. Those characters are related to the story, and the other characters, I don't mean that the other characters not related to the story at all, but then they don't take a major role in it. So
right. With these units that you can recruit, are they classified in any way? Like, is there such thing as like an S rank unit or like a B rank unit that you can recruit?
We don't actually rank the characters, but we do have a differentiation by the terms of the stats. So stats may be different from each other.
Okay. Hold on. Before we get back to that, what is the skill exactly?
This skill is provoking the enemy to attack like the unit that provoked for like during the 3 turns. So you're only going to be able to attack the unit that provoked you. Yeah. That's cool though, but there's quite a few variations of this anime. I like how they have like the whole army behind them. Like they're like they're like, I don't know, maybe they're saying really crude words or cursing out the other side to provoke them into attacking them. Maybe the right term for the skill. It's
something that I like a lot about a lot of these like quick cut-ins in Lost Eidolons is that there's always a lot of like filler characters in the back to give a lot more oomph to each of these cut-ins. Like it's like an actual fight going on and not just like one unit attacking one unit.
That's what we discussed really a lot, like how we gonna show the battle scenes to be. Like we could have done the character to character just sweeping the swords and such, but we wanted to show actual armies behind, so this isn't just like character to character battle, but the army to army battle.
Yeah, I think it gives an extra layer of immersion to the actual fights, which is important, I think, for an RPG. It's hard to do that in a grid-based turn-based strategic RPG. Next, we wanted to show the clothing would look in Lost Eidolons. And you're going to notice something immediately. From left to right, you have, I believe, Merchant, Berserker, Noble, Paladin, and Mage? It's either I think it's Ranger or Mage or one of those. I can't remember.
Like that.
But some of these armors are for classes that you will play as. Some of them, well, one of them obviously is the merchant or a merchant that will visit your camp. And the two in the middle are noble persons. So not all of them are outfits you would wear to battle. And obviously these are not all the outfits in the game. This is just a small sample so you guys can get an idea of that low fantasy. Exactly. We wanted to show you guys some of the face designs as well. This is in slideshow format, so it'll rotate every 5 seconds. But you guys can see a lot of the face modeling for the many characters in Lost Eidolons. We're not going to give you guys the names. We're not going to say who's an important character. Maybe that one in the middle right there is a little recognizable.
Actually, there are too many characters. I don't remember all the names. I do recognize some of them, but there are too many right now. And as you know that we actually recently changed all the names. So I have a very big confusion about the character's name.
Yeah, that's true. So obviously a lot of our team, our localization team's done a wonderful job. Many of the names, they all have a context to them, like an origin to the name as far as regions go. Some of you guys might catch some of these, but no one is named without a specific reason. There's a context to every name in it.
You know what I learned from this project? Naming is really hard.
yeah, it is. I sat in on some of those meetings. The mini-map design. Obviously, when you're in the camp section, you're going to need a mini-map so that you can navigate the camp. Very nice looking mini-map, actually. You can see a lot of the symbols that you'll see placed on the mini-map. Hopefully, it'll make it really easy to figure where you're going and what you're looking for, because you're gonna have to roam the camp a little bit. It's by no means a small camp.
Camp gets bigger and bigger. So I think we thought that we need some minimap.
I mean, I imagine the camp must be big with how fast the character runs. Oh, what is this scroll on the left, by the way?
Something like a quest. There will be some quest at the camp. So when you go to talk to some NPC, they will give you some quest.
Okay, because I noticed that this scroll, it talks about speaking with someone, but then it also gives some geographical information about a place. And I'm wondering if that's supposed to be information that helps you plan for an upcoming fight.
I think it's just about the camp.
Okay. What I'd like to do now is, first of all, we're going to tackle some of the questions that were asked in Town Hall first. So we have a Discord server, rather. If you guys join this, there is a channel called Town Hall. And when in the Town Hall channel, you can ask questions that we curate in a weekly Town Hall text post. For this week, as well as 1 week of every month, one of the town halls is going to be taken over by this live stream format, and we're going to just do the town hall portion live. All right, so the first one comes from Alex14AC. Is there any way to edit any of the characters' physical features, like their face, their hair, or body proportions, whether it's an important character or a minor character?
The answer is no. I wanted to, but I didn't have a chance to.
I think it's kind of okay though, because I think as they're designed, they have their own stake in the story.
That's right.
It's not like these are generic characters without a place in the story. Every character that you encounter has their own reason to be in the story, and so they can have their own identity and their look. Okay, second question comes from Bowden, and Bowden asks, will units interact or speak with one another in any way, shape, or form? Or will they be mainly just interacting with the main protagonist, in this case, Eden?
Okay, mainly you will be interacting via Eden, but then sometimes when you're at the camp, you will approach some people talking and you will overhear them. But then it seems like you're not supposed to hear, So
eavesdropping.
sometimes they're talking each other, but you have to be near them to see them talking. So there are a couple of cutscenes where some people are talking each other, but when you get near them, they're talking and then they stop talking if you're coming because you're not supposed to hear them.
This is something that's very. This is actually a question for me.
Okay.
So given what you just said, if certain characters are supposed to have dialogue between each other, is it possible that you never unlock this dialogue because you didn't recruit these characters?
If there's one, you will have just skip that conversation because you never recruited it.
I see.
But
so you
I
can't.
don't think we are going to have those kind of conversation. So all the mandatory conversations will be dealt by the characters that you'll be given.
Right. So you can't miss like really important conversations.
But then if you don't recruit the character, whatever he's supposed to say, you will never listen to them.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
you have to,
As exactly what as Benatsu says, it might encourage some replayability to maybe recruit some other characters that you might have missed out on some cool dialogue or exposition from them. Okay. Moving on to the next question from Noir Valentine. This one I'm going to answer. The question is, we're nearing the funding goal, 75%. What stretch goals do you have in mind after permadeath? Will the community be able to vote on which stretch goals they want? So the status on stretch goals, we did have a plan for it originally, but we're looking to potentially modify it as we approach the last stretch. You guys already know that once we reach the funding goal, we'll have the optional toggleable feature for permadeath, where if a character is defeated, they are knocked out, they're incapacitated, and they can't participate in battles. And we did have further stretch goals in mind. We didn't share them on the Kickstarter campaign because we were advised by Kickstarter, hey, don't get too ahead of yourself. Share these stretch goals later on after you reach your funding goal. Don't put them out right away. So we decided to chill on that for now, and we would share them later on. But since we didn't include them initially, this gives us an opportunity to kind of reassess them a little bit. Some of them included a hell mode, which is an enhanced difficulty. It would probably be the hardest difficulty available of the game. And we did cover this a little bit in the previous stream, where hell mode in Los Eidolons wouldn't necessarily just mean stat bloat, because that's like the easy cop-out way of doing it, right? Just making the HP higher or making an attack value higher.
Yeah, we are actually gonna have the easy difficulty and the normal, and these two are should be really easy for people who used to play this kind of game. But we're gonna have a hard and a hell mode, where we going to add not only the number of enemies or level up the enemies to make it difficult, but then just by doing it, not fun. So
yeah, it's not cool to hit a sponge.
To, add some, I say, interesting skills where it's kind of different from just increasing the level of the enemies. So they will have with the different it could be passive or active skills, and with those kind of skills, that were not like included in the enemies in a normal or easy mode, they will be like they will have like different AI, right, with the different skill. So it's going to have some different like experience, and not only the different experience, but the could be like different from like every time you play. So there will be some randomness in it. Hold on.
So we do have the whole hell mode thing in mind, but we also have another idea in mind that was inspired from games like Hades and Kingdom Hearts and Dragon Quest, which was something called the debug menu. I thought it was an amazing idea, and it was the ability to give players a menu with very specific modifiers that they could toggle on and off to basically tailor make their game experience. So their own modifier for damage taken or counterattack damage taken, all these like different potential ideas where they can just kind of rummage through it and figure out how they would want to change the experience for their own playthrough.
That's right, yeah.
That was a more lawfully stretch goal. It was originally set for 200K. Again, we're going to reassess those things. And guys, if you guys have ideas for stretch goals that you would like to see, please do feel free to suggest them in Discord. Obviously, a lot of them we probably can't facilitate. I mean, we're working with what we got, with what resources we got, and if it's something that we can't do, we'll just be upfront and tell you guys that we can't do it. But if it's like a really cool idea that the team absolutely loves, it's obviously something that we can consider. Okay. The next question is, will people be able to continue to back the project after the campaign, the Kickstarter campaign, has ended? I'll also take care of this one. That is a maybe, that is a tentative, that is a TBD. Obviously, there are some services that allow people to continue backing a project after the case, but as you guys know, our Kickstarter campaign has actually never been about raising money. Lost Eidolons has always been fully funded right from the get-go. We've always had the funds to create the entirety of the game, and Kickstarter has always been a means for us to actually build a community to actually work with, because prior to this point, nobody knew who we are, and today, most people still don't know who we are, but fortunately, we've built ourselves a little bit of a core community that we can get to work with thanks to things like Kickstarter and social outreach and things like the Xbox at the Indie ID at Xbox event. So it's more about finding backers, which kind of correlate to building a community. So the next question: are there any plans to have monsters playable in? Is this your question, Jiva? This is literally the next question on my list. I recorded these in the order that I read them. Are there any plans to have monsters playable in the future? If not, can it be considered in a future update?
All right. Monsters are not currently considered to be playable. If you're talking about like a characters, right? So we don't really actually consider that, and I've been thinking of other like races, like elf or dwarf, maybe. So maybe in the update, like future update, or maybe in the sequel, but not the monsters right now.
I think it would be a bit of a logistical nightmare to have monsters as a playable unit, because they don't occupy one cell, do they, on the battlefield? Some of them?
Well, it depends on like monsters. Like there are small monsters, they occupy one tile.
Yeah, but there are some that are big.
Yeah, that's right.
And they have special properties to them too. Next question is from Jord. Are there any plans for a photo mode? We've had a lot of people remarking on the aesthetic of the game being pretty high quality, and this is not the first time I've seen a request for a in-game photo mode.
Wow. I actually never thought about that. Never did because
you never looked at your project and thought, "Hey, this is a pretty good-looking game."
But then the game isn't like an open world where you just walk around and look at everything you wanted to. So never really thought about it. But maybe we should start thinking about it.
I wonder how hard that would be to actually implement from like a coding perspective.
Actually, I'm not sure. I gotta talk to tech people.
Next question from Sue. Aside from stretch goals, will Lost Eidolons continue to receive content support after the launch? For example, a seasonal/holiday update.
Well, as far as I'm allowed, I am really willing to add more features. I mean, I've been thinking a lot about the new features I can add, like mainly the story of the other characters other than the Eden. So we can make up we can come up with the stories of all the other like the main characters, and not only the stories, but we can also think about adding features like a network play, like co-op or maybe PvP. So there are a lot of features we can actually add if I'm allowed to.
I mean, obviously, you're trying to get a lot done in a pretty tight deadline overall, and we're trying to get this game out by early 2022, which is that's right around the corner. So I guess it would make sense if some updates were like, oh, we can't get it done by this time, but hey, we can put it like in a future update. From Severance Bane, will there be any randomized battles either during or after the campaign to extend playtime?
The main stories won't have the randomized battle, but maybe we've been thinking about we're gonna have some battles where you can grind the levels. So those battles will have different set of the monsters or enemies. Any like. Maybe it could be like the random, or totally random, or maybe it will be different from each each episode.
Okay, and these side battles, are these the battles that use the leadership points, the side battles?
I think so.
Okay, so to give some of our viewers a little bit of context, there are points that you can use up when you are at the camp, and these points they only refresh at the next episode or the next camp, and so you had to wisely use them to either train your units or build up relationships with certain characters, or to pick up side quests. So you need to plan out your leadership points accordingly. But that doesn't stop you from doing these actions. It's just when you have the leadership points, you get additional rewards that really make it worth doing these activities. But if you do them without the leadership points, you can do them, it's just the rewards will be substantially less. So basically, there is an intended amount that you're supposed to do before you move on to the next bit of content. But for the people who really want to grind, for example, they get stuck in a certain encounter and they just really need to grind a little bit, and they kind of want to brute force it, don't want to change up their strategy, they can do that. Like, you could play the way that you want to, but we do have in mind a certain amount that you should do before you move on, that's intended. Okay? So the next question is, are there any class-specific items to equip or character-specific items?
Okay, there will be some class-specific items, like the magic spellbook. You can equip that when you're like a knight. So you have to be like a magician or the wizard or sorcerer or whatever it is. And we do have some character specific equipment, but then this is something like the house specific long time transferred weapon where like old from the old generations. But then this isn't limited to the specific character to equip. Any character can equip it. So
So
there is, to answer the question, there is only the class specific items. I guess.
Right. Okay. So there's some maybe unique items that are like an heirloom from a certain family, but anyone could technically use it if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I like that idea. We get a new character. They bring a nice unique weapon heirloom, and I take it and I put it on my favorite character.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that poor character. The next question is, can you upgrade or expand the camp?
Okay, the camp in the beginning will be really small because the army base isn't really big to start with. So the first one or two camp you come up with a tent, but then when you go small tents, and then when you go through the story, your army base goes bigger and the camp gets bigger. So and you're gonna have some unlockable features like the training. You won't be given like from the first. You won't be able to access all the features we are planned to give you. But as the story moves on, you will be able to unlock. So it's in some form of upgrade or expansion, right?
That's okay. Every great story has humble beginnings, and of course, expanding the camp will be very useful for those very fast legs that we saw earlier. Okay, so let us get to some of the questions in chat. We have this question here. Repost, will we get to see any additional gameplay footage with commentary of combat battles or interaction scenarios with the companions / general camp life? So what they're asking is, before May 21st, will we actually get to see some actual run-of-the-mill combat of the game, or like a long splice of camp actions that's uninterrupted?
Before Kickstarter ends, I'm not sure.
Might be a little tough, right? That's only 15 days from now. 14 days.
It's. I would say no.
Similar to how Fire Emblem kind of reaches to certain lore for their weapons and whatnot, does Lost Eidolons reach towards a specific mythos where it gets some of their weapons from? There are some famous weapons in history, and they're wondering if any of them will pop up in...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Actually, never thought about that. We but similar to those, we do like I just said, like in the previous question, we're gonna have some house transferred, the weapons, where some house will have some axe.
Yeah, family heirlooms. Yep. Family heirlooms.
Yeah, that's right. That kind of weapons existent in the game, and maybe we can add those kind of the mythology weapons.
I mean, those things are always cool. You get them and you're like, I've seen this name before. This is a badass weapon. I know it's a badass weapon. It's like Excalibur, pull that from the stone. You know it's a good sword.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Nora's question just for a second here, because they were asking about gameplay. What are your thoughts on a demo? When is a rough time frame that we can see a playable state of the game?
I think it's planned at the end of May, less than a month to build a demo version.
Yeah, and it would just be like a battle and some gameplay in the camp, right?
It won't be like full featured demo, but you will be able to see through what kind of like episode there is and how the battles will be. Like.
I hope that when we have that demo, that if it's just like one battle, that you can try it on different difficulties. That would be cool.
Okay, I think we are planning 2 episodes, but not the difficulties.
The next question coming up: can you play as companions in the camp? Would you be able to participate in any activities like mock battles or mini games in the camp as a companion, or can you only play as Eden while you're in the camp?
As Eden.
Pretty straightforward. Yep.
You are able to control the Eden, and then you interact with others.
Okay, so it's very centric around the protagonist. It's very centric around Eden as the commander of his army and whatnot.
That's right.
Will there be a weapon do you have to worry about durability in Lost Eidolons?
To answer straight is no. I didn't really like the idea of having durability system.
Me neither.
Because I didn't like the idea of durability of the weapon. But then we have the skills and the magic durabilities.
That's true. That's true. Actually, it's they're limited use per battle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a true durability system, but more of a charge count. So you're only allowed to use skills, certain like each skill and magic spell has a usage limit in each battle, so that you can't just spam the same skill or spam the same spell over and over. You have to smartly use these skills in the most tactically advantageous ways.
That's right.
Will the demo be available to all or just Kickstarter backers?
That I don't know.
I think
Jongsu
answer this one for us. I don't know the answer to this one.
I don't know.
Oh, there we go. It'll be available to everyone. Fantastic. That's what I wanted to hear. Just from previous, are there actual life skilling Timesink activities in the camp, or is that TBA? Is there anything grindy in the camp besides for pursuing side battles like life skills and stuff?
There are some quests where you will be execute the quest, but not much. I don't think that much.
Okay, so it's pretty to the point. It's like go to the camp, use your leadership points, explore a little bit, and then go to the next battle. Pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not too time sinky in that regard. I think if people should like have a time sink for the game, it should be trying like additional playthroughs of the game, or trying challenges, or trying different difficulties, or trying new characters and all that kind of stuff. Okay. The next question. We'll take a couple more before we cut things off. We're already over time, and we can take a couple more questions before we end things. Let's see. Which question's next? Jongsu! Where are the questions? Okay, yeah. I mean, I could read chat too. I mean, it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be on the screen. I figured to make you guys feel a little better when it shows up on the screen. Are you guys still answering questions? If so, I have a follow-up question. Are the races you said could be playable include races like centaurs, minotaurs with equipment restrictions?
I don't think so.
It's pretty grounded. I think for the most part, it's mostly humans. I mean, there's mythological creatures that you'll have to square up against every now and then. But for the most part, it's very, very grounded in the sense that you're pretty much seeing only humanity, and humanity's also its own oppressor. Profession system. I mean, I think we talked about this. There's not really professions, are there?
No.
Yeah, no professions. Can you play cards with the boys? Is Ocean Drive planning to go Wichita and invent a mini game? I mean, there are plans for mini games, aren't there?
Yeah, that's right. He talked about the Witcher, right? Where it's kind of like that, but like kind of different. I actually want to add the mini game, or like just like the Witcher. The what was the game name? I forgot.
Gwent.
The card game.
Yeah, Gwent.
But then the Witcher one is just a true card game, right? The TCG kind of.
Mhm.
But what I wanted to add was like a kind of board game where you have figures of the characters, and you have to move like it's like minor version of the battle, but then and it's gonna have a set of rules different from the actual battle, and you have to play with the NPC.
This is strategy gameception right there. It's actual Inception. Well, now that you bring that up, if we're gonna have a board game with like figurines and whatnot, I really, really hope that you have to collect those figurines through activities in the game, because that would actually be super cool.
Yeah, that's actual plan I wanted to have.
One plan, yeah. You
Like-
seem to
like
be
you-
your brain seems to be filled to the brim with different ideas.
You come up with the set of figures, right? Like Eden and all the characters, right? The basic set of the characters, and then you come up with you challenge the NPC and you battle with them. If you win, you win the another figure, and you collect the figures.
You take the figure from them, right? Winner takes all. It's like triple
Not
triad
sure
from Final
about that,
Fantasy
but,
VIII.
we can do that, actually.
All right, I think that's all the time we got today, guys. We went a little bit over time, but we love the questions that you guys presented. Please do think of more questions for the next town hall. Again, this is a monthly live stream. We do not avoid any questions. Anything that you guys want to know, either about the game, about us, about the studio,
Yep.
we welcome these questions. We want to build a nice community of folks that can, stick by with us through not just this game, but many games to come too. And gosh, we're looking forward to getting this game made for everybody. This is our baby project here, And Jungsu did drop the Discord URL too. Please do feel free to join our Discord as usual. If you have any questions and you think of them, you can just plop them in the town hall. And we do have a weekly version of the town hall too. It's not just monthly. And the weekly version of the town hall is a text update, which takes all the questions and answers them. All the questions that you guys heard today were just from this week, but every week we have some form of town hall. If it's not in this live stream format, then it's a text format. And once again, we do want to thank you guys for the immense support in our Kickstarter campaign. We're making amazing progress. We are totally on track to making our funding goal. And we will discuss with you guys with stretch goals and what our plans with stretch goals are as we come a little bit closer there. And as I mentioned before, please do give suggestions if you think you have a really cool idea, and we will assess whether or not it is feasible.
Thank you again. We are going to be coming every month, so please join us next time as well.
We'll be looking forward to seeing you guys again very, very soon. All right. Have a good day or a good evening, wherever you guys may be, and we will see you guys on Discord and social and our campaign page. Take care.